everyone, how are you doing today? My name's Kirsty and this is my reading wrap up for October. I had quite a small reading month because I was quite busy doing stuff, and then towards the end of the month I started to feel a little bit unwell, and that ended up being COVID. So my reading kind of fell to an absolute standstill in the final sort of 8 days and into the start of November. But I did read a couple of novels and a few manga, so we're going to go through them. I'm going to start off with my DNFs because I had three. Two of which I will go back and finish. One I have done as a total DNF, and those three are right here. So the first one is How to Bite Your Neighbour and Win a Wager by D.M. Brin. This is... I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying the dual point of views. But I'm not very far in. I'm only about 3 chapters in. But again, I started reading that like just before I got sick. So I will continue. Then we have Wolf Song by TJ Klune. Ren and I are reading each other's favourite books. And so... Ren is reading Slave to Sensation by Nalini Singh. I am reading Wolf Song by TJ Klune. They are having a lot more fun currently than I am. It started off great, but now that I'm just over 100 pages in, it's starting to go a little bit too vague and a little bit too what the hell's actually going on, what is the actual plot of this book. And I'm starting to realise with Klune that is a theme that I'm having with him, is that I love how he writes his characters. And I love how he writes, how the interactions are, but I also don't love how he writes plot, because I feel like plot is his weakest thing, which is also mine, to be fair. So I'm like, maybe I'm frustrated with him because I'm frustrated at myself. Who knows? But yeah, I will be completing this at some point. And then finally, the one that I will not be finishing is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. From the blurb, it sounded like it was going to be a kind of cozy romance, but also with a hint of thriller horror-esque, and instead it was just insta love. The guys just completely fallen for us straight away, and all we're getting from both of their perspectives is how hot each other are. And I'm like, in the first 3 chapters, all they've talked about is how, oh, I can't be distracted by how pretty she is, and oh, he's so hot and hunky, and it's like, no. Onto the books that I actually did finish, and as always, starting from the lowest rated to the highest rated. This does not mean that the highest rated was book of the month, even though it was. I only actually completed 5 things. Oh wait, I had 4 DNFs and 3 that I'm continuing. So the final one that I will be continuing is the second book in the Raven Cycle series, The Dream Thieves. I started it, and it's one that I just listen to when I go to bed. If I want to do a bit of colouring or do some Sudoku, I will listen to it as I wind down to go to sleep. But while I've been sick, I've been watching Criminal Minds instead, because I just needed something to distract myself from the fact that I was sick, and I was too sick to colour or do anything that involved my brain, so I've just been watching TV in bed. But the lowest book that I actually rated was a manga, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's going to be in my wholesome manga video and I'll talk about it way more in depth. But it's My Love Mix-Up Volume 1. I know some people absolutely love this series, Ren, but I didn't think it was a very strong start. I did not enjoy the way that the mangaka has chosen to do the facial expressions, and it was too... It was either one extreme or the other. It was either super silly and goofy or super serious, and it just didn't quite mesh right for me. I didn't really grow attached to the characters, and I was really looking forward to it. And yeah, I wasn't behind it at all, and I don't know. I've said that I will try Volume 2 when I can, but currently this is just not really it for me, but I'm hoping that Volume 2 will be a little bit more with it. But I gave this one 3 stars, quite a low 3 stars, but it was a 3 stars because it wasn't awful, it just had some issues. Then one that I actually was bitterly disappointed in and actually had a bit of a rage, and that was the Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. Reading this means that I've got another series completed for the year, which means that I'm now back on target to complete 5 series this year. But holy crap, was I so pissed off with this, because there was just, the characters barely had any personality. The atmosphere was nowhere near as good as it was in previous ones. And even though I appreciated the fact that there were far less culture references and it felt like the book was more focused on the characters, which was great, there were so many loose threads at the end, and there was a side story involving Elle and Darian from the first book that came into this and was just so vaguely sort of notioned about, and I was like, I want to know what's going on with them. I want to know what happened. I want to know more, yet you've just glossed over it, and I just was so frustrated with this. I just felt that there was, compared to the first 2 books, this just had such a lack of the magic. There were moments that I absolutely loved, and as always, Ashley Poston with the last 2-3 chapters always brings it home. But there was just a lot of flaws and a lot of errors, and I felt for the final book of the series it was such a big letdown, and I maintained the first book could have been a standalone and was fantastic, and the quality of the series just went down, and it went sort of 5, 4, 3 in terms of star ratings for me. So this one was 3 stars and was not my favourite in the series, and I will probably never reread it, unfortunately. Next up we have another one that's in the wholesome manga vlog, so I won't be talking about too much, but we have Natsume's Book of Friends. I had a fun time with this. It was great. It kind of gave me Card Captors / Inuyasha vibes, but the main character is a male instead of a female, and there's currently not a romance kind of element in there, which I kind of like. It focuses more on the supernatural aspects. And yeah, this one was just really fun because it's got a bunch of sort of demons and spirits that want to reclaim their identities and reclaim their names after his ancestors stole them, or his grandmother, I think it was, stole them. And he just goes on an adventure to give them all their names, and he has this cat companion who is a little bugger. But I love him. And yeah, I am actually having a great time with this, and I will be continuing it, 4 stars, and I'll talk more about it in the Wholesome Manga Part 2 vlog. Then another manga that we have that is not part of the Wholesome Manga vlog, I just really wanted to reread it because now I've got volume 1, I could read 1 and 2, and that was Black Butler. Obviously it's Halloween, perfect manga for Halloween. If you're not a fan of horror but you still want that kind of dark gothic aesthetic, perfect for you. There's like some horror-esque elements in here, but not horrific, I don't think. It's good. But yeah, it was really fun reconnecting with the characters, and I remember why I didn't enjoy it at first, because it is so confusing. It just kind of throws you in and doesn't really give you a lot of context. And as I've said before, this is not a beginner-friendly manga. Like, if this is your first manga that you're picking up, please watch the anime series before you pick it up, because if all you do is pick this up, you might put yourself off reading manga for life, because it is confusing, it is very full, but it is also hilarious, and I love the characters, and I love the cast, and it was beautiful for me. 4.5 stars, absolutely loved it. And then without absolute doubt, best book of the month. I re-listened to it on the audiobook, but as I was listening to it, I was also tabbing and highlighting it, and just the tabs alone, you can see here how many tabs are in this book. I have highlighted, there are chunks where literally I've highlighted the entire page because it's so good. And there's like so many different scenes that I love, and it is of course the greatest book, Cemetery Boys. As far as I'm concerned, this is peak YA for me. I have drifted away from YA in recent years. I was really worried that going back and reading this again, I wasn't going to enjoy it as much as I did the first time round. I didn't have to worry. It was fantastic. Julian is still one of my all-time favourite characters. I also loved Maritza far more this time round. First time round she annoyed me, this time round I just absolutely adored her. I really like how it brought in some really mature themes, but without being super adult, and it also brought in some really important cultural topics that are thematical to today, and they're really important messages for today. But again, without it sounding political and preachy, it just was so beautifully woven in, and it had me really emotional at points. Even as someone who is not trans, it had me welling up and feeling feels, and I felt Yadiel's rage, and I just, this book does things to me. It's, as you can see, I had 2 of these with the same colours, and I've used both of them up for this. So Aidan Thomas, I want my tabs back. But yeah, this was just gorgeous. I loved it. I didn't cry and get as emotional this time round, but that's because obviously I knew what was coming. But then there were certain things that were even more emotional because I knew they were coming, and I knew the build-up, and the narrator, Avi Roquez, is so good at putting emotion into his voice. I was just like, I didn't stand a chance. But yeah, absolute fantastic book. Peak YA, peak LGBT, peak everything. Absolutely loved it. 10 out of 10. 5-star. Only 5-star for this month, but 5-star nonetheless. And yeah, I recommend this still to everybody. So those are the books that I read. I've realised I've slowly been slumping this video. I'm getting tired. Those are the books that I read. As I said, it was quite a light reading month for me this month, but I am still really happy that I managed to get as much done as I did. And yeah, I'm hoping in November to get a little bit more done. My TBR should be posted by now, so if it is, I will link it above. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what did you get up to in October? What was your favourite book for the month? And I will see you guys on the next one. I hope you're all good. I hope staying safe. And until next time, bye.